So we're going to talk about music today. And in this class, I know I said it's not going to be based on Western theory, because the West is just one of the 4 directions of the planet. But this is the system that I know, so this is the best way for me to communicate. And we're going to bring a keyboard into the classroom today. And even if you don't know how to play keyboard and you're feeling terrified, you're like, is this guy crazy? Well, first of all, you already know I'm crazy. So there's no need to ask that question. Second of all, you can learn how to play this without knowing how to read music. I truly, truly believe that. And some of the best hip hop artists that I know don't read music, but they're really proficient keyboard players, even though their fingering is terrible and I often have to help them because I taught piano for 20 years. So there's also a piano teacher nerd in me. But I promise I won't sass your fingering when you play. You guys can play, if you want to play like this, like your hand got run over in a horrible accident and now you play like, fine. I won't sass the technique. It should be like this. But if you need to do this, I'm okay with that. So what I've done is I've drawn a keyboard on the board. And you can see that there is a pattern. Well, first of all, there's 2 colors of keys. These are the keys. So what are the 2 colors that you see on this keyboard? Is it black and white or is it white and black? White and black. Who says white and black? Who says black and white? That's so funny, I never thought about that. Let's go with white and black because you were first. So we've got white and black. Now if we look at the black keys, there's a repeated pattern. What's the repeated pattern on the black keys? 2s and 3s, right? So we've got a group of 2, then we have a group of 3, then a group of 2, and a group of 3. This is how you're going to learn how to play the keyboard. So I've made a great big keyboard here, and you can see here's our 2, here's our 3, here's our 2, here's our 3, here's our 2. What is the first letter of the alphabet? A. And A is also the first letter of the musical alphabet. And you'd think it would go in a nice, balanced place, like right between the group of 2 would be a great place to have A, but it doesn't. It goes in a weird, awkward place. So you look for the group of 3, and then in between the 2nd and 3rd black notes is where the letter A is. So if you take this keyboard and you find the group of 3, you go in between the 2nd and 3rd black note. This is where the letter A is. Okay? So this is your A. So if that's an A, and we go this way, what letter do you think is next? B. So we have a B, and then what happens? C? H, I, no, there's no high. You can't say high in music. You can't. Because there is no H, there is no I. Who can tell me why there's no letter H? Because?
Only 7 notes.
Because there's only 7 notes. Because this is a group of 3, and there's the second, between the 2nd and 3rd. We're back to another group of 3. So every time you come to this group of 3, you have an A in that spot again. B, C, D, E. Okay, so this is going to really test your brain. If this is an A, and we go this way, what letter is this?
G.
Oh my God. This is such a great moment for me. Everyone's listening and paying attention, and they knew it was G. Oh my God. Heart explosion for the teacher. Yes! We're going backwards. Now what's before G? F, and then?
E.
And then?
D.
And then? C. All right, so this is our musical alphabet. There's only 7 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's all we have. Okay? So in some ways, the musical alphabet is much simpler than a written alphabet. Because there's, well, I don't know. You think I would know. Was there 27 letters in the alphabet? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. 26. Thank you. Thank you. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I counted 25, but I'm going to believe you. There's 26. So here's our keyboard. Now, we can do these things called chords. And you guys are going to learn how to play chords today. I'm going to show you what a chord looks like. A chord is 3 notes played at the same time. And there's a skipped note in between each note. So if I wanted to make a chord on A, I would go A, I would skip B, I would choose C, I'd skip D, and I would choose E. That's how you make a chord. Now, of course, it's 100 times more complicated than this. And if we were a music program and you were taking a theory class, we would be studying this for like 6 weeks, and you would hate chords by the end of that 6 weeks. But I'm going to make it really simple. You have this one, and this one, and this one. It makes, oops, I shouldn't make that shape. I'll cut that out later. So there we go. I'll do it like this. So you would play these 3 fingers, and you would have a chord. And in a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my keyboard in, and I'm going to show you what a chord sounds like. But all you have to do is take the note that you want to make a chord on, skip a note, play a note, skip a note, play a note. So if I wanted to make a chord on G, which we would call a G chord, you would go G, skip A, add a B, skip C, and add a D. And that's a G chord. Now, why are chords important? Well, chords are like the pieces of your spine that make up your skeleton. So in a song, if you have an opening section, like your verse, that verse is going to be made up of chords. The chords are going to be what the melody sits on top of. Okay? So just know that this is how we make chords. Now, of course, we can make a chord on A, we can make a B chord, a C chord, a D chord, an E chord, an F chord, and a G chord. So there's 7 chords that we can make. There's also a whole other dimension of like happy and sad, good and bad, light and dark, evil and not evil, liberal and conservative. And that's in music what we call major and minor. So how many of you have ever seen this thing? La 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 la. That's called a yin-yang, right? And it's meant to sort of like represent the duality of life. Life and death, black and white, good and bad, etc. Well, we have the same thing in music. So we have major and we have minor. Okay? So major sounds happy, like I'm taking my dog for a walk. Isn't this a lot of fun? Dun 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 da da dun dun dun. Taking my dog for a walk. Minor is like a car comes by and runs your dog over. A car came by and ran over my little dog. Now it's dead. That's minor. It's sad. Unless if you're one of those sick people who likes to kill dogs, in which case you know where the door is. Okay? You gotta love dogs to be in my class. So, major and minor chords. How do you know? How do you know if it's major or minor? There's a really simple way. You just have to count the distance between the notes, like this. From the white to the black to the white to the black to the white to the white to the black to the white. Notice that there isn't a black note here, so there's two white notes here. So the keyboard doesn't just go white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black. It'd be easier if it did, but it doesn't. It goes like this. White, black, two white notes. Black, white, black, two white notes. Black, white. We call these steps. So if you count the steps in between the notes in your chord, you can make a major or a minor chord. So for example, A, C, E. Let's take a look at the steps. Let me get a different color. And if this isn't totally sinking in, it'll make more sense once I play it. But I can't make both films at the same time. So I'm going to do all the stuff at the whiteboard first, and then I'm going to show you on the screen, okay? So let's erase all that. Okay, so let's start at the A, and let's count our steps. From A, we went 1, 2, 3, and then we stopped. So this was 3 steps. And then we went from the C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we stop on the E. And this is 4 steps. Now, when the distance between the two bottom notes is 3 and the top is 4, this makes an A minor chord. So this would be a chord on A that sounds evil, dark, sad, scary. Let's take a look at the G chord. Let's count these ones. We start here from the G. We've got a G and a B and a D. So we start here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this time, the distance between these two is 4 steps. Do we see how it's different this time? The first one was 3 steps, the first was 4. And then we go 1, 2, 3. So it's just flipped around. Now there's 4 on the bottom and 3 on the top. This is G major. So that's the difference between these two chords, is one is a major and one's a minor. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this on the board. I'm going to stop this. Did I even start recording? God, I sure hope I did. I did. Okay. I'm going to stop recording now. You're gorgeous. I'm going to make a quick little session here. And this is the default instrument. Do you notice now? I can make beautiful music with my keyboard. All right, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to actually go in, and now we get to pick instruments. I'm just going to pick piano for now. Steinway grand piano. Notice this changes. So what we're going to do now, we're going to make some chords. So tell me, does this sound happy or sad? Happy. So is that major or minor?
That's major.
That's major. How about this? Happy. So that is a G major chord. Here's G. I skip a note. I skip a note. Those are the 3 notes. They make a G major chord. How about this? So here's A. There's A minor. If I want to turn that into a major, all I do is raise the middle note. Goes to ta-da! And now everyone's happy and we all get chocolate. So do we hear the difference between major and minor?
Yeah.
What can you do with this information? If we go into our Google, our Moodle, we go into Moodle, we go down today's class, I've given you some learning resources that I'm hoping are going to help you to start making music. So the first one is called Keyboarding One Pager. Open. The second one is called Keyboarding Chords One Pager. So here's what these two pages look like. Here is the keyboard. Here are the letters. Notice where the A is. Here's our group of 3. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. And on here, you can see here's a C major chord. C, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 steps, and then 1, 2, 3, 3 steps. C major. D major has this black note in the middle. E major has this black note in the middle. F major is 3 white notes. So here's what all the chords look like. A major has a sharp, or a black note in the middle. B major has 2 black notes. And then here's all the minor chords. White note, white note, white note. B minor has a white note, black note. So all you have to do is just copy these shapes, the 3 red dots, or in this case, in the major keys, the 3 blue dots. Don't worry about the purple dot. That's a bigger kind of chord that you guys don't need to know. This was made for a class that was a music class, and so they were making chords with 4 notes. We're just making chords with 3. So this is how you can make every single major and minor chord. And then if we go back to the keyboarding one pager, you can see that these are common chord progressions. So in C major, we can go C chord, F chord, G, and C. What does that sound like? Let me show you. C chord, F chord, G chord, and C. That's like 50% of the songs in the world use that chord progression. A chord progression is just, a number of chords that happen in a row. Here's a different chord progression. C major, D minor, G major, and back to C. How about this chord progression? C, D minor, A major, and G. So this is how you can make a verse or a chorus, okay? So I would suggest, if you're new to music, stick to the C major because it's the easiest key to play in, and you can try out some of these chord progressions. Okay? Now, if we take this and put it into GarageBand, you get a song. So let's make a song called Star Goes to School. I'm going to check my tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This is my metronome here. I want to leave my metronome on while I'm recording. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to press the record button. Did you notice that there was actually 4 beats before it even started, before it got to bar 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it starts to record. This is what we call a count-in. The count-in gives you time to press the key, get your hand on the keyboard, and then play. So my count-in is 4 beats, or 1 bar. So here we go. I'm going to record C, F, G, and C, that very first chord progression. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And stop. So now if I double click on this, bam! Here are all of my chords. Look what I just made. I made that by playing it in. But do you see, here's the beginning of the second beat, or the second bar. See how my notes are a little bit off? My playing is actually not very perfect. If I go back and play this, listen to it with the metronome. It's a little bit off. The great thing about working with a computer is you just tell the computer to fix it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called quantizing. Quantizing sounds really fancy, but it's not. Quantizing just means move all of the notes so that they go to the nearest beat that you pick. So you can see time quantize. This is the Quantize, the Quantize magic wand right here. Right now it says it's off. I'm going to click on this to open it up, and I'm just going to click on quarter note. Quarter note, remember, is one beat, so it's going to go to the closest one beat. So I'm going to click on Quantize, and did you see what happened there? Did you see that little shift? I'll undo it, and watch what happens. When I quantize to quarter note, watch the notes. Bam! Now everything's perfect. So now I have a quantized score. So you're going to want to quantize everything. And the other cool thing too is now that all of these are just notes in the computer, we can do anything we want. You can move it anywhere you want. If your sister is driving you crazy, you just do this. Hey, April. And then she punches you, but it doesn't matter because you've already made her angry, so you win. Oh, but geesh, now I don't remember where this is supposed to go. Who remembers what undo is on the Mac? Command Z. So if I press Command Z, it just puts it back. Okay? Now, I can also drag over the whole chord. I can move it to wherever I want. So you can see how it says a D. I've just moved that to D, so now this is a D chord. C chord, B chord, A chord, G chord, F chord. And an F chord is what I want. Do you also notice that this chord only has 2 notes? Well, I can add the third note in. Who remembers what key we hold down to copy something? If we hold down Option, I can grab this note, hold down Option, and now I can grab it and copy it up. So now I have, oh no, that's not the right note. It goes right there. And it even shows you the notes over here on the keyboard. Okay? So this is another way for you to figure out what these notes are. So now I have a fully functioning chord progression. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this chord ends a little sooner than the rest. I can select all of these, scroll over the end, and drag it to make the note longer. So you can change everything about this note. You can make just one of the notes longer, or 2 of them, or 3 of them, okay? So now that you've put these into the computer, you can change all of this We call this MIDI data. MIDI means musical instrument digital interface. It's just a type of data. It's music data. Now you can change all this stuff. So if we look back up here, I've created a nice little piano part. So this is my solo instrument. And remember back when we were doing our loops assignment, we had a beat, a bass, and a solo. Well, I'm working backwards. Now I'm starting with the solo, I'm going to make a bass, and then I'm going to add a beat. So to create my bass line, I'm going to go and add a new instrument. So click plus on a new track. It asks you what kind of track. Pick a software instrument track, create. I'm going to move this slider back. I'm going to go into bass. And these are the basses that they've given me here. I'm going to choose an upright studio bass. Okay, so that's like a stand-up double bass. So I'm going to add a stand-up double bass. Now, all your bass line should do is copy the notes of your chord. So who remembers what my chord progression was? What was the first chord? C, F, G, and C. So that's going to be my bass line. C, and F, and G, back to C. Now if you want to funk it up and be like C, 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 F, 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 G, 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 and C. You can do whatever you want because you've got 4 beats for your bass line. But here's a very, very simple bass line. So I'm going to start here. Okay, very simple. One of each. If I double click on it, I can see the notes. Let's watch it. I was pretty accurate, but it's still not perfect. So I'm going to quantize to quarter note. Watch what happens. Shazam! Perfect bass line. Now, here's the fun thing about the quantizer. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to just like play some crazy random thing for 4 bars for each of those notes. And I'm just going to quantize it and get the computer to fix it for me. So watch this. I'm going to go record. So, you know, it's not perfect. I'm not going to get hired in a band as a bass player because you can see it's not very good. I'm going to quantize this. Now, how do I pick which note to quantize it at? Well, do you see how there's a lot of notes in here? Here's the basic rule. The more notes you have, the smaller the fraction needs to get. So 1/2, if we go further down, a quarter is smaller than a half, right? And then an eighth is smaller than a quarter. And then a 16th is smaller than an eighth. So I'm gonna try 16th note. These are 16th notes. Let's see what happens. Okay. Let's listen to that. It's not bad. I think the first bar is mostly good, but I'm gonna fix this just a little bit. Okay, I can hear that this note's off. I'm gonna drag it to the next square. Right. Where is it? Right here. Right. I think it's that one. No. Wrong square. I need to go to this square. I can hear someone playing. Please don't do this. Just watch this. So that's okay. So that sounds better. And this also sounds early. I'm going to drag it to the beginning of my bar. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Nice! I love it! Okay, so now I'm going to go into my loops. I'm not going to make a drum loop. We can make drum loops in GarageBand, but it's very time consuming. I'm just going to go into Instrument. I'm going to go into Beats, and I'm going to pick something fun. That's kind of fun. So this is Star. She's like skipping all the way to KPU. And so she's like, I can't wait to go to Gordon's class, and here's what it sounds like. See, she's so happy to come to music class. I'm going to just turn this down a little bit because it's a little loud. So now I'm going to remix. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my library, click on my Steinway grand piano. I'm going to go into some synthesizer. And let's go for, let's see, classics. I'm going to solo this. What does this sound like? That's kind of cool, but I want to try out all the sounds. So I'm going to loop this section with my looper, and I'm just going to try all the different sounds. I'm going to press play. Boring. What's this one? That's okay. Oh, boring. 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 Oh, maybe. Oh, sassy. Ooh. Yeah, I think we can do better. Let's go synth. Let's go rhythmic. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. Oh, yes. I like it. I want to change my bass. I'm gonna go into synth and bass. Let's see. How about this? That's kind of cool. Ooh, hard tech. That's not bad. How about heavy? Boring. That's the one. Okay, and now we have a little song. And all that I needed to know was C, F, G, and C. So do you guys see how all of these pieces fit together? Music is math and it's letters. If you take the counting in math and the letters from language and put them together, you get music. So what I want you guys to do is to just make me one 4-bar sequence like this. One 4-bar sequence. It has to have some kind of a solo instrument. It has to have some kind of a bass, and it has to have some kind of a beat. Okay? In the past, what I've done is like give me a section A, give me a section B, but I'm going to simplify it. I just want you to go through this process. So you have to pick your chord progression. So you do that by going in here. You pick maybe this chord progression. Maybe you go C, F, A, G, or C, A, F, G. That sounds the same. How about E, A, D, G? Pick 4 chords. Bring them into GarageBand. Come on. Why don't you move? Put them into GarageBand as your chord. Go down, quantize. Where's my quantizer? There we go. Quantize your chords so that they're perfectly on the beat. Then go back, make yourself a bass line using the same letters of your chord progression. Quantize that so it's perfect. Go and find yourself a drum loop, add that in, and then change your sounds and remix it so that it sounds cool, or sounds goofy, or sounds sad and scary, or sounds full of rage. Just pick an emotion and then choose chords that go with that feeling, and then give me that feeling based on the choices you make of your sounds and everything else. Okay? So that is your assignment. And then when you're done, you save it with your name, you quit GarageBand, you put it on the desktop, you zip it, and you upload the zip file to Moodle. And that's it. That is your keyboard song